Good morning, everybody. My name is Matthew Wood, Sergio Felix, and Antonio Tarejo, and we are called the EEG guys. For our senior project, we decided to do seizure prediction in the pre-ictal zone, and it came up with two challenges. The first challenge was to have a way to generate EEG signals to read, and the second one was to do the seizure prediction. For the first half, we custom made a box that generates a 16-bit 256 hertz period signal, and and it uses a DAC to shift register out the outputs to do a continuous signal at any period of time that you input into it.
So we also have what's going to be the user interface. Now, this is what it features the capability of selecting the proper sensitivity zone. So depending on that sensitivity, it'll trigger a basic alarm to letting you know as a user that there's a predictable seizure going on. It was based off on a Raspberry Pi using Tkinter, and we implement all this in a 3.5 LCD screen.
So the way we're doing the seizure prediction is by deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning, which is a useful tool for pattern recognition. So we can present it with just data and labels, and it can learn what's important from that data to distinguish between the different types of labels we're attributing to the data. So what we did was to turn the time series EEG signals into pictures via short-time Fourier transforms, and then we used a convolutional neural network to find the right subspace transformation to be able to distinguish between pre-ictal brain state, which means they're about to have a seizure, and every other brain state. So when they're having a seizure, not having a seizure, and so on. You can see that the results for training on one of the patients is right here. This is for the first patient in the data set, and if you look over here, you can see that we're color-coded by the results, and you can kind of see where the lesion is at based on which electrode gives you the best results.
Any questions?
So what triggers, how do you know when a seizure's coming on? Do you have an exceedance on certain levels, or how?
No, so the nice thing about deep learning is you don't have to know what to look for. You just present it with the data and label the data as this 30-second batch is not pre-ictal, this 30-second batch is, and it will learn by itself with enough examples how to tell the difference between those two brain states. So.
Is it like a pattern recognition?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So that's a nice. There's another subset. There's another field called another subset of machine learning called shallow learning, where you do have to know like pretty much exactly what to look for the model to be able to learn that kind of thing, but not for deep learning.
Would you put this in a hat or something?
Yeah.
How would you have it on a patient?
Yeah, so we can show you next door later today that we have just a small cap with only one electrode, so just one pair, and it hides very easily underneath the baseball cap. And we're using special dry electrodes that don't require gel or anything, so it's pretty concealable.
What is the sample size?
It was about 36 hours of continuous recording for each patient, so around there.
How many patients?
Oh, about 23 patients.
And you got 99%?
That was using all 23 electrodes, and that was only between pre-ictal and interictal, which means 4 hours before or after a seizure. So yeah, we got 99% accuracy using all 23 electrodes, which would be inconvenient for someone to wear all the time, and only between those two brain states. But using only one electrode and distinguishing between pre-ictal and every other type of brain state, we got still over 89% accuracy, and that's a really realistic situation. So, thank you.
Did you study how this might become a practical product? For what cost?
It's mainly research right now, but we were able to build it he built his generator to test our signal for 300, and then once I mean, the actual seizure prediction system cost about $40. And, yeah.
And for the generator, this is just buying single components too, so you're obviously paying the highest price for them. So if you're able to mass produce it, you'll definitely be able to drop the price down.